Before I tell you anything else, just imagine this. An MD-11 lifting off. And within seconds, the entire left engine rips off the airplane and flies over the fuselage. The NTSB has now confirmed this actually happened, and the pictures they released are absolutely shocking. Let's break this down like friends talking. I'll explain exactly what the new report says, and also what it doesn't say. Hey everyone, welcome back to Out Channel. On November 4th, at around 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time, UPS Flight 2976, a Boeing MD-11, crashed just after takeoff from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. The aircraft was destroyed, and tragically all 3 crew members aboard, along with 11 people on the ground, lost their lives, according to the preliminary NTSB report. Crew received takeoff clearance at 5:11 p.m., and everything up to rotation looked completely normal. The NTSB has reviewed the cockpit voice recorder and confirmed the pilots completed all their checklists and briefings. No warnings, no unusual chatter, just a routine departure, till rotation. But the NTSB has not released the cockpit transcript, and the report doesn't mention what the pilots said in those final moments. What it does include are the images. The first picture shows the aircraft starting to lift off, the moment where there is no turning back. But the second picture is where everything changes. You can actually see the left engine, the number 1 engine, separating from the wing and rotating upward.
Oh.
This is exactly how engines are designed to break away during extreme structural failure. Then, in the third image, there's fire on the engine as it's airborne, and another fire starting near the left wing's pylon attachment point. The report says the engine actually passed over the fuselage, an unbelievably violent sequence, and another image shows it falling toward the ground. You can also clearly see the airplane starting to your left, which makes sense with the loss of thrust on that side. Though the NTSB didn't comment on the yawing or the exact timing of the photos. All of this happened in seconds, far too fast for anyone to diagnose, let alone recover from. And remember, pilots can't actually see their engines from the cockpit. According to the report, a repeating bell started 37 seconds after takeoff thrust was applied, almost certainly the moment the separation occurred. Another photo shows the MD-11 barely above the ground with a massive fire burning near the pylon attachment. That fire continues until the crash, just about 25 seconds later. Before we go further, I want to take a moment to honor the crew. Captain Richard Wartenberg was the pilot monitoring. With 8,600 flight hours, nearly 5,000 on the MD-11. First Officer Lee Trout was the pilot flying, with 9,200 hours total, and about 1,000 hours in the MD-11. And Captain Dana Diamond, serving as relief officer, had over 15,000 hours and more than 8,800 on the MD-11. This was an extremely experienced crew who faced a situation no pilot could have survived. So how did this happen? The NTSB has provided a few key early findings. First, this MD-11 was originally delivered in 1991 as a passenger aircraft, then converted to a freighter for UPS in 2006. It used GE-CF6 engines, a model with a history of uncontained failures, but the NTSB has essentially ruled out an engine explosion. The left engine didn't fail from inside. It separated structurally. There was also confusion early on about the aircraft's climb. DSB showed it reaching about 475 feet. But the flight data recorder confirmed it only climbed to roughly 30 feet. That's it. 30 feet. The aircraft managed to clear the blast fence off the runway, still burning. And moments later, the left main landing gear struck the roof of a warehouse, one of the final moments before impact.
Ow.
A lot of people speculated that debris from the left engine might have entered the tail. Engine number 2 causing a compressor stall. That's physically possible, since the engine shot over the fuselage. Some even suggested the right engine number 3 might have stalled too. But the NTSB didn't mention any compressor stalls at all in the preliminary report. So as of now, there's no confirmed evidence of that. The only confirmed facts? The aircraft couldn't climb. It hit the warehouse roof, rolled left, and crashed. One interesting thing. The NTSB referenced American Airlines. Flight 191, the deadliest aviation crash in U.S. history, because that event also involved the left engine separating during takeoff. But this seems to be more of a historical comparison, not a direct mechanical match. Now here's the part that matters most, and where the investigation is focused: the engine pylon. The MD-11's left and right engines attached to pylons, which attach to the wing through three main connection points: a forward mount bulkhead, a thrust link assembly, and an aft mount bulkhead. The NTSB is focusing on the aft mount bulkhead, specifically the forward and aft lugs of that assembly. Pictures in the report show both lugs fractured on the inboard and outboard sides. Those pieces were found near the runway. The wing clevis, spherical bearing, and some wing structure were found near the crash site. The right engine, by contrast, was still attached to its pylon, and the mounts that broke loose were consistent with impact forces, not mid-air failure. Now here's what triggered all the emergency inspections. After cleaning the metal surfaces, the NTSB discovered fatigue cracks. The aft lug had fatigue cracks on both the inboard and outboard surfaces. The forward lug had fatigue cracks on the inboard surface near the bore. What all this means in simple terms: those cracks grew slowly over time, and when the aircraft rotated for takeoff, a moment of high stress, the lugs finally fractured. That allowed the pylon and engine to rip away from the wing. Why did the cracks form? That's still unknown. The aircraft had 93,000 flight hours and about 21,000 cycles. The last detailed inspection of the aft mount was in 2021. Lubrication was done just weeks before the crash. A special detailed inspection of this specific area wasn't due until nearly 29,000 cycles. So on paper, the aircraft wasn't overdue for anything. There are still huge unanswered questions. This is why the NTSB grounded all MD-11s and DC-10s until inspections were completed. They needed to make sure these fatigue issues weren't widespread, and now we wait. The final report will take time, and speculation doesn't help anyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.